What's up, y'all? Welcome to the first episode of the AFC North Throwdown podcast. I'm joined with Alex, aka Bengals fan page 4, and then Nate over here, aka Ravens news fan page. And we're going to be talking about all things AFC North, all things NFL, and basically anything we want to talk about on the podcast. There's no limits. You can talk about whatever you want. So, first thing I think Alex wanted to get into was the Ravens wide receiver situation. So, Alex, you want to go ahead and talk about it, and then we'll give our opinions.
I think that the question is how they're going to be without Hollywood Brown. That's been the question ever since they really traded him away. And Rashad Bateman sounds like, from what people are saying, he might be the number one receiver. And now we just need to know who's going to be behind him to be the number two. And I think that this, even though Hollywood did get traded, and that probably sucked for a lot of Ravens fans, but I think this is an opportunity for guys like Rashad Bateman, who I don't think really put up great stats last year, and this could be a chance for him to put up good numbers.
Yeah. The problem was last year Rashad Bateman was hurt for I think it was when did we play the Chargers? Week 4? Week 6?
I think week 6, because the Bengals was the week after the Chargers game.
Yeah, that one hurt him.
Yeah, that's true. Injuries were a big deal last year since the season was longer and stuff. Injuries were, more of a bigger deal. I know the Ravens, took the brunt of that when y'all lost Lamar, near the end of the season. That one hurt y'all for sure.
Yeah.
Because y'all would have made the playoffs. Y'all would have given the Bengals a run for their money if Lamar hadn't gotten injured, for sure.
I definitely would agree with that. That if Lamar was playing, I think the Ravens' record would have been a lot different. Yeah. And I understand John Harbaugh's been the head coach for the Ravens since 2008. I think he's been a good coach. But I think when he loses key players, especially the 2015 season when Joe Flacco got injured, it really showed that they weren't really the same, or they weren't really putting up great numbers after that, and it showed once Lamar got injured as well. But I think John Harbaugh, when his starters are healthy and stuff, he's really become a good head coach for the Ravens.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I can see that. But any team that I'm not even trying to be biased, but any team that loses their star players, they're gonna go in a little bit of shambles.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure. You were losing players left and right. I remember during the training camp in 2021, I think they literally had to cancel practice because injuries were just coming out the window. Just this player torn his ACL, he's out for the season, and it was just a pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like J.K. Dobbins and all that, getting injured and stuff. And your running backs, y'all's running back room was so bad you had to sign Le'Veon Bell,
Yeah, and he's no longer in his prime, but when he played for the Steelers, though, he was a dog. No one wanted to tackle that guy.
No one could tackle that man.
Yeah, no one could,
good.
Honestly.
He's definitely special, but
Yeah, and no one could cover him in pass coverage too. He would always juke people, and guys are missing tackles and stuff, and everyone tried to, and it just wouldn't work. But, everyone now, Le'Veon Bell, he's they're pretty much looking at, when linebackers tackle him, they usually make the tackle right away.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good. I got something, bro, that I've been thinking about for a while, right? So the AFC is so stacked this year. You know what I mean? There's so many good teams in the AFC, and only 7 of them are gonna make the playoffs, bro. So that means
That's gonna be a battle.
One division winner. So I think, in my opinion, I think the Ravens are gonna win the North this year. And that's coming from a Steeler fan. I don't think we have it in us. And I think the Bengals are really good, but I think the Ravens are the best team in the AFC North. But, you think about the 4 division winners, and then you have 3 more. So that means one of the AFC West teams isn't going to get in. The Bengals maybe couldn't get in. Maybe the Patriots and the Dolphins don't get in, or the Titans or anything. There's going to be so many good teams with so many good players that just aren't going to make it. And it's going to be the playoffs this year is just going to be such a battle. it's gonna be such a battle.
It really is, especially after the Broncos signed Russell Wilson and the AFC got that
Yeah,
division alone just got more competitive. With they had Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and I mean everyone really likes to people criticize Derek Carr, but I mean he's not really a bad quarterback. He was put in a bad situation last year. He lost a lot of good players,
yeah,
during that season, and he still made the playoffs. And even though he lost to the Bengals, I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of quarterbacks I don't think would make the playoffs with the situation he was in.
yeah. That's true. I think honestly, in both of the conferences, as I'm looking at them right now, like it's just like 16 teams in each conference, obviously, and then I see like 4 or 5 of them being really, kind of low end teams who aren't gonna, really have much of a chance this year. But that leaves like 10, 11 teams who are all gonna be fighting for those wild card spots and those division titles. And this season, I think last season was real entertaining. And don't get me wrong, it was great. But I think this season is just gonna be all that much better.
Yeah, especially with the Ravens, if guys stay healthy, it's definitely going to be a battle to win that AFC North with the Bengals and Steelers. I think those, really, those teams really have a good chance. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky, if he I think he could have a chance of putting up good stats or having a career year.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that means Deontay Johnson has to put up good numbers, George Pickens,
Yeah.
they're going to have to be able to pass the ball to Najee on screens and, all of that. And if he can do that, I mean, I don't see that as a problem. He's never thrown a pick six in his career, which is very good.
Yeah.
People never look at that. All they just look up, is his stats with Chicago.
Yeah.
And he's thrown, he has to be careful and, when he throws the ball, because I've seen, balls get intercepted or, balls get picked off, especially the game actually yesterday, I think, when you guys played Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That ball got tipped off Deontay Johnson's hands and then I don't know for sure. I don't remember if it got picked off or it was out of bounds, but either which way, those are the things that Mitchell Trubisky has to make sure those don't happen during the season because it could really turn into trouble.
Yeah, that's true. Are you watching the game right now, Nate? Are you watching the Ravens game right now?
I was watching it right before you called me.
Yeah. Is Bateman playing in that game?
I don't think we're playing anybody that's going to be starting that much.
Yeah.
I see Isaiah Likely has over 100 yards and a touchdown.
Dang. Who is that?
Our rookie tight end.
Rookie tight end. Yeah,
He was we were big on.
Yeah, dang, that's promising. I like watching preseason just because I know I honestly wouldn't have cared if we had lost the game yesterday, but it's just fun to see to see if you can find that one breakout player, who's gonna get on the roster and stuff. So it's always fun. Preseason is fun. Preseason gets me ready for the regular season for sure.
I definitely. I mean, sometimes after a while, I just eventually get bored of the preseason. After when they take the starters out, I mean, for some reason, I'm big when the starters play and stuff, and it gets more interesting battle.
Yeah.
That's why I look forward to the season a lot more. But I've definitely been watching a lot more of the Steelers games this year. I don't really have all that time to watch Bengals games because it's always the day where I'm busy. I don't know why it happened, but
Yeah.
I mean, even on those days where I watch them, I really just watch the quarterbacks to see how they do and what the Bengals are going against when they face them week one. Because don't get me wrong, when Mitchell Trubisky played in the first couple, I think the first quarter or, maybe even the second quarter, his starters were in. So, I just have to I really want to watch what we're looking for when we play them week one and what what competition they're going to give us.
Yeah. I think one thing I was paying attention to yesterday during the Steeler game was just the offensive line, and it looked so horrible. And we had all of our starters in for a little bit of that first quarter, and we just looked so bad. We couldn't protect Mitch to save our lives. And I'm just hoping, maybe it's last year Jamar Chase dropping all those passes in preseason. Maybe it's just, some preseason jitters. Maybe they'll get it out of them, and, we'll be good to go regular season week one against y'all. But the one thing that scares me is the offensive line because no quarterback is going to do well with our offensive line. It's really bad. You have to have a Joe Burrow type player to play with a trash O line like ours, like Joe Burrow did last year. So it's just going to be difficult.
I think part of the problem with the offensive line, I think that you're right. The right tackle I saw didn't really play bad, but Dan Moore, he had a down rookie year from seeing his tape and stuff.
Yeah,
Especially the week 3 game, Trey Hendrickson was just beating him like crazy,
yeah,
like it was kind of just embarrassing, especially for Ben Roethlisberger. He couldn't really break out that sack anymore like he once
yeah,
was able to. And Dan Moore wasn't really good, working with the older quarterback. But I assume maybe if he had a younger quarterback like Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett,
yeah,
I thought that maybe his stats could change a little bit because Mitchell Trubisky is better on breaking out sacks. I saw a couple times yesterday, even in the game against Seattle in week 1. I was I don't think Ben Roethlisberger, wasn't doing that in 2021. And I think that Dan Moore has to do a better job of protecting his quarterback, or it could really be trouble week 1 when he's going against Trey Hendrickson once again.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah, and then the right tackle, could improve a little bit because don't get me wrong, I know Sam Hubbard is not like a TJ Watt guy. He's not going to probably make the biggest plays against Pittsburgh, but I think that if that right tackle doesn't do a good job blocking, Mitchell Trubisky is going to just get collapsed.
Yeah,
Like just Trey Henderson and Sam Hubbard just coming right up in his face. And I know Sam Hubbard, didn't really have a lot of sacks, but he, puts the team in a good situation. Ohio, he came out of Ohio State, so that
yeah.
was really promising for the Bengals to get
Yeah.
a Ohio player.
Nate, like, what are you like? What are you watching when you're watching the preseason Ravens? Like, what are the main things that like worry you that could hold the Ravens back, basically?
I'm definitely watching receivers because that's definitely like been everybody's like main priority,
Yeah,
and like definitely like QBs like Huntley. I've seen has been playing good.
yeah,
Like QBs like just in case Lamar gets injured again,
yeah. Like,
or
yeah,
like in 2020 he got COVID like 30 times.
I know. Like, right when y'all were about to play us, that was funny. That Thanksgiving game got like postponed to like the Tuesday the next
Yeah,
week,
that game got postponed like 3 times.
and that was such a shame because I was so looking forward. That was gonna be like the best Thanksgiving game that year, but
Yeah,
that was disappointing. But
I watched.
Yeah, I remember that year was the year that the Steelers couldn't run the ball with James Conner. So
oh yeah, that
all
was
Ben that's why Ben Roethlisberger had like 33 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, because
yeah,
they could not run the ball for their lives. They were always passing the ball, and they really had receivers who weren't really stepping up. I know like Juice Smith-Schuster put around like 7 touchdowns, but he still wasn't making great plays.
yeah.
You probably hate for me to bring this up, but that game where he got smacked against
Yes,
Von Bell.
I do remember that very well.
Yeah. And that was just showing you that was really, he really stopped, doing the TikTok dances in the middle of the field. I know
Yeah,
after that game he was just you know, he kind of stopped that a little bit. I think
yeah,
he did that, on the Pittsburgh Steelers maybe, but
yeah,
he really changed. I think he put up good numbers the week after though. It's just
yeah.
not that game alone.
That's just like one of the things I was talking about earlier. This just like maturity and like all that TikTok drama, like that's just extra drama that a team trying to contend for a championship just absolutely doesn't need. You don't need any extra drama than what, is already going on in the NFL. I know people on social media love it, but like from a team standpoint, everybody's going to be watching that on the team. Everybody's watching, Juju getting hated on for doing TikToks and stuff, and it definitely affects the team mentally.
Absolutely. And, when players, on that team sign to another team, it gives them something to criticize about.
Yeah.
Like Alejandro Villanueva, when he went to the Ravens, he brought up how the receivers don't take, the game very seriously. All
Yeah.
they care about is their social medias.
Yeah.
And, everyone hates when former players criticize about their old team, like Alejandro Villanueva did.
Yeah.
I know, the receivers kind of just gave him something to criticize,
Yeah.
their team alone. And, that's just something that people hate. Like,
Yeah.
people, of course, probably hated Antonio Brown when, he was putting up big plays,
Yeah.
That's different. Like,
Yeah.
but doing the TikTok dances alone, that's something that he could control.
Yeah. I don't mean to cut anybody off here, but I do have to get going because I got to work out tonight, and then I got to do some more homework tonight and get ready for, high school tomorrow. So, I don't mean to cut it short, and I know we got a lot more to talk about, but for this episode, I think I'm going to end it here. I'm going to, I'll send it off, and we'll be back. I don't know when, but we'll record another episode pretty soon. So that's gonna be it for this episode, y'all, and I'll see y'all later.